Hello, I'm Justin Moss, Associate Professor in Horticulture here at Oklahoma State University, and today I'm here at a water conservation demonstration garden at the OSU Oklahoma City campus. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about some ways you can save water use in your home landscape if you have an irrigation system or if you water your yard. So the first thing I want to talk about was just a few different types of irrigation controllers. You got different manufacturers and different types that can be purchased. And so I wanted to show you a couple from the three main manufacturers of these types of products. So the first one is from Toro. It's called the Toro Evolution. And this particular unit is what's called a smart irrigation controller. And what makes it smart is you can actually hook it up to a weather station, and it can sense rainfall, it can sense wind and sunlight and temperature. And so you can actually base the way that you irrigate your lawn based on the actual weather data that's collected on site at your yard. This station can also be used with a soil sensor, and so a soil sensor can be just placed into your turf grass or into your landscape beds or both, and can be used to sense the soil. And when the soil gets too dry, the irrigation will come on, and if the soil is wet, the irrigation will not come on. So a good way to just give the plant the water that it needs and save water in the landscape. Hunter has a similar station. It's called the Hunter iCore. Can also be hooked up to a weather station like this. So you see it has a wind sensor, a rain sensor, and can be used to sense the data, and you can irrigate based on that. Also, most of these controllers, they're set up where you can basically set them to summer watering schedule. So the heat of the summer, July, August, the plants are going to use the most water. So you set it to 100% capacity in summer. So a lot of times that may be 1 or 1.5 inches of water per week. And then based on the weather or climate data, it will adjust and just apply a percentage of that based on need. So maybe if it's a wet week, it would automatically adjust to just maybe water only 25% of that or 30% of that. If you don't have the smart controllers hooked up to it, you can still use that percentage, and just every week you can manually adjust. Say if you only wanted to, if you've got it set up to water 1 inch per week, this week you only need a 1/2 inch, just turn it down to 50%, it's only going to water a 1/2 inch that week. So Rainbird, again, also has a similar controller. This one's called the ESPB, can also be hooked up to sensors and can be used very similar to the others. So another thing you can do to help save water around the home is make sure you know, if you're irrigating your lawn, how much water you're putting out. So a lot of times when we talk about rainfall or precipitation, we usually talk about that in Oklahoma as, inches. So maybe we say, how much did it rain? Oh, it rained in 1/2 inch, or it rained 1 inch. So it's kind of the same thing when you water your lawn. You want to try to measure how much you're putting out on the lawn in inches, just like rainfall. So the way we would do that is do a catch-can test. And you can just set any type of thing out in the yard and try to collect the water that you're putting out with your irrigation system and measure how much you're putting out. So I have a couple examples here today of just a simple catch cup that's specifically made for irrigation system. So it's got markings on it in inches where you can calculate or measure how much water you're putting out. Also, for our program, the OSU Cooperative Extension and the Water Center, we have just some handy rain gauges. Notice that they're short, so you can stick them down right at turf level or right at landscape plant level. And again, we'll tell you as you collect and water how much you're putting out in inches. So that's very important, because a lot of times, again, we talk about trying to base our irrigation on plant need, and we usually talk about that in terms of something called evapotranspiration. So all that means is that's the water that's evaporated daily to the atmosphere, plus the water that's used through the plants through transpiration. So you combine evaporation and transpiration and you get evapotranspiration. And so we have a website with Oklahoma Mesonet that calculates that on a daily basis, and you can look that up and see exactly how much you need to water. And also we have fact sheets on how to do an irrigation audit, how to measure your output, look at your uniformity or how even it's spraying in the yard. Also, we have fact sheets on our smart controllers, how to select the best drought-tolerant plants for Oklahoma, and then also just how to save water in your home landscape. So you can download all these publications through the Oklahoma Cooperative Extension Service. You can visit your Oklahoma County Extension office to get more information, or for more information you can contact the Water Center.